is KE. KE, say hi. KE, the camera is okay. All right, so KE, you want me or you to go first?
Oh, you got that.
Okay, everything in this universe is made up of a mix of actuality and potency. Potency is a fancy word for the way something could be, so like potentiality. And actuality is basically the way something is currently. For example, this tree is currently a tree, but a seed is currently a seed, but is potentially a tree. It can be grown, okay? Furthermore, anything with parts has to have potency because those parts can be arranged in an infinite number of other ways. Point 3, anything with potency cannot be its own self-efficient cause because there has to be something outside that system explaining why it is that way. Point 4, infinite number of clauses cannot go back infinitely, okay? So it theoretically could, but the problem with that is they're all potent. So it'd be like stacking a bunch of dead batteries infinitely back and hoping to get electricity. You can't. There has to be a first cause. That is God, and that is without parts, and that is actus purus. Because the universe has potency, the Big Bang has potency, the infinitely heat point from that one theory has potency, the infinitely dense point from that theory has potency. So there must be an outside cause that is God, and that is actus purus. There cannot be more than one God, because there can't be multiple actus puruses. One of them would have to have potency. Therefore, in making them not perfect, not immutable, and making the other not God. So there can only be one God. Alright, so what's your argument against that?
My argument is that I don't believe in God or any I'm not Christian. I'm atheist because I've studied a lot of science and science backs up my claim.
Okay, so if it backs up your claim in quantum mechanics, superposition particles are literally in potentiality states until measured. So your quantum mechanics thing and all your science stuff just proves my point even better.
Yeah, but like if you really think about it, like so you said a lot of people argue that God is like he's an eternal being.
Yes, he's eternally begotten. Because the other argument would be that an infinite cause of potent things would go back infinitely, and that'd be like stacking a bunch of dead batteries infinitely and hoping to get electricity. You're not going to get electricity because there is no first sustaining cause.
I'm actually like not smart, bro. What does that even mean?
Potency is a fancy word for the way things could be.
No, I know what potency is.
Okay. Are you talking about like how I'm trying to prove the infinite causes argument wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the other option or the plan B for atheists is that the universe, another like thing they do is that the universe and every form of it went back on causes infinitely, and because those causes would all have potency, they can't be a self-sustaining cause. So therefore, my argument that it's like stacking a bunch of dead batteries infinitely and hoping to get electricity, you can't. God would electrify that. He is the first battery that has power.
So if he's the first battery that has power, I know this is like what everyone says, but like I need a statement. What created God? How did God get here?
Okay, God is eternally begotten because so I proved the other arguments wrong. Let me further insist this. So if everything with potency has changes, okay, like the universe has a limited amount of time as well, okay? So it cannot actualize itself, because it has no casual power. Basically, what that means is like if a log were to try and ignite itself to make itself in the actual form, fire, which has very little potentiality, it can't, because a log can't magically ignite itself. So there has to be a sustaining cause that is eternally there. That's like the only logical argument, because again, with, sorry if I'm getting a little off track, but with the sustaining cause thing, you can't give, the universe is potent because change is potent. And if you argue against that, you're giving potency, pure potency, casual power, which it does not have. It can't actualize itself. So B, potency has some sort of power. It doesn't. Or A, your argument is wrong. Either way, the argument against that something created God, is false.
Okay, well, you said, wait, I want to back up for a second. You said that the universe is infinite, right?
No. I said that one of the main arguments for atheism that you seem to be supporting, because I disproved the others, one of the main arguments that you seem to be supporting is the infinite causes argument, which is disproved by causes going back infinitely. Not that the universe is infinite, by causes going back infinitely that have potentiality.
Yeah, there's a lot of scientific facts that support that. There was there could have been universes before ours.
Either way, those universes would have potentiality. The universe have substance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so and I don't know if I believe, like, it doesn't seem like I'm not really the one to be arguing about this, but it kind of just seems to me that it's just hard for me to believe stuff like that. I don't have enough proof. I don't have enough evidence. I don't have, with science, there's a lot of stuff that I can look at, like charts and like stuff like that.
But you won't. The problem with science that you might even encounter is that pretty much everything in science is theory. This is fact. Metaphysics is fact.
Yeah, and I've also studied a lot of with theory, there's how do I explain this?
You can take your time if you want. You can explain it in any way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to this. I've gone through and I've read articles. Like, after I was done with studying science and everything that I wanted to learn, well, not everything, I'm still learning a lot, but I took the time because I was really invested on learning.
Okay.
Like, is all of this real?
Yeah.
I took my time and I read the Bible. I read a lot of stuff about it, and it's still just it's really hard to believe that someone or God, he made all of this with his bare hands, or however he did.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to believe until you if you really go into that argument that I would consider unrefutable, because whatever quote-unquote refutation atheists would have is B, switching to another argument, or denying a basic fact, which is kind of like a funny loophole, because they're denying that things have parts. So it is hard to believe. I will agree with you on that. Because for a bit in my life, I was in the same questioning stage with the God. I was kind of this doesn't make sense. I don't think this is real,
Yeah.
But then when I discovered...
I don't think there's,
But then when I discovered all this and I found Jesus, this was truly found Jesus. I was still Christian then, but I was lukewarm.
Yeah. Okay. So wait, I want to talk about this. I've studied there's other religions such as I've studied other religions to see if maybe, I don't know, with atheism.
The only problem with the other things, Buddhism, reincarnation is false. You can't recreate or destroy things that have potency. It's kind of hard to explain. But I would say the top contender against this is Islam, but the only problem is the Islamic dilemma. So they confirm our scriptures, and then in our scriptures, we can use that to contradict them. So if we're using our parts, so in Islam, you're trying to use parts from the quote-unquote truth that are already there. So it's just circular reasoning trying to disprove. It literally contradicts himself blatantly. You should look up that. And then my argument against Judaism, Jesus literally fulfills pretty much every prophet in the thing. The third kingdom, the kingdom of heaven. He was born in Bethlehem. Like all that stuff. Even in Isaiah. Also, there are 500 eyewitness accounts of him after his death. Like after his crucifixion account.
Yeah.
And it wasn't some sort of secret tomb. It wasn't some sort of secret tomb with a scandal because it was donated by a well-known person in the Jewish community.
I've what I was gonna say is I've studied other religion and I've looked into it just to see, and it's just even with that and Christianity, I just can't believe it. It just doesn't make sense to me on a like different level. Like I've studied science to try to make it make sense. Like I want to believe like something like there's a creation, someone created.
So you seem, sorry to cut you off, you seem very interested in science. And now that I've given you this argument, I would recommend if you're going to actually research Christianity, there's one book that kind of like, if you disagree with it, that's fine. Like that's kind of our last resort. Read Summa Theologica. Or Summa Contra Gentiles. It's very popular. They probably have it at your local library. It's a theology book by St. Thomas Aquinas, and it involves a lot of the arguments I personally use. Like, I read a lot of the Summas, and I read Robert Bellarmine. Like, it's very... I just really like it. Personally.
But what I was going to say... Yeah, like when I was gonna finish, I'll touch on that in a second. What I was gonna say before that is like when hold on, I lost myself. Oh yeah, when I studied all that, and I don't believe it. The reason is because I think for humans, like making religion, like the reason I don't believe religion is because I think that humans back really long time ago made religion because they had a hard trouble believing in that the world came from nothing. Or that atoms collided to make this, or
so I would say the same thing, but early miracles were tied to that. It wasn't like they just randomly thought of religion. There were like tied accounts to God and the Godhead. So I would like. I also used to like look, and I also looked. Like, in the stage, I looked a lot into the argument that, like, religion was created by the quote-unquote elites just to, like, cope with death, and that just seems very unlogical based on metaphysics as a whole. In my opinion. But, what are your, like, closing remarks of the debate?
You're actually, I don't know. You're actually not the first person I've debated about this.
Oh, that's cool.
Not really. Like, one of my closest friends, he's like a Christian. He studies it. He's very into it.
Does he know all this stuff? Does he know all like the metaphysics stuff?
Oh yes, he's very.
That's cool.
I don't even know how to explain it, but like I don't have a problem with Christians. Like a lot of people assume that atheists are just like F Christians, like don't like them at all, or like I don't have a problem with it. It's just for me, I think that it's just people, like even what you said, like that people, like 500 eyewitnesses after his crucifixion. I think that's not really like, I don't think that's really evidence that I could use personally, because there's no factual like evidence that I can personally see right now that would help me.
So I hear a lot of people saying the same thing, but it's like the argument of past tense, like not wanting to believe what's there. That's like me saying, two ways to describe it. It's like me going up to Isaac Newton and saying, I don't believe in physics, it doesn't apply to me. That doesn't mean physics doesn't apply to me. And that's like, if I cut it off and I don't see, like, let's say I was born without a here's a better one. Let's say I was born after Einstein's time. We have we have so much proof that he existed, but I mean, it could be it could be anything. All that could be false. Like, no matter how convincing the proof seems, which is a pretty preposterous claim. So I would say.
Yeah, but what?
So what I would say is that it was more, in my opinion, it's because of all those arguments that I haven't really seen much, like, I don't think any people try to refute in, like, a logical way. I just feel like it's more blind faith necessarily to be an atheist than a Catholic, like Christian, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think, personally, I don't think I'm ever going to believe in, I don't think anything's gonna convince me. But I wanna touch something you did say. You said the stuff with Einstein and all of the proof being there, but it could be false, right?
Yeah.
Well, where's that proof for God? Where's that proof for
Metaphysical arguments. I'm saying, if you never saw Einstein, that doesn't mean he didn't exist. There's still proof of Einstein. There's still his resonance, his teachings even, still left. And there's so much accounts. Jesus definitely historically existed. Even atheists and agnostics can believe in that. The only thing is some people believe he was not the Messiah. Some people believe he was a prophet. Some people believe he was crazy. Some people believe he was a good teacher.
Yeah. Also, another thing that also sets me apart from other people is I grew up when I was 10 all the way up top. When I was born, when I was 10, my family was Christian. And my dad, he was a really, really Christian, really Christian. And he would always make us go to church. And when I was when I was 10, I did not understand anything they were saying at all. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
This is just gonna sound crazy, but when my dad died 5 years ago, and when he was in his deathbed, he said that he saw in the hospital, he said he saw God, and that would make sense to me, kind of, not really, but the only thing about my dad is that the reason he died is because he overdosed on crystal meth. So,
Yo, swimming with the fishes, off on my hand like she on super fishes.
All right, so yeah. All right, thank you guys for watching.